Oh yeah, all right. It's just the way I like to be alive, Dave. Beats the alternative.
So I'm here today with my friend Mike, who is MGK Boston officially, right?
Yeah, it's now Buffalo, but I kept it Boston because I lived there for 15 years, and I don't want to mess with YouTube because I've seen other YouTubers, they change their channel name and lose content. So it's MGK Boston, Buffalo, wherever I may roam,
Wherever you roam.
just like a buffalo.
So now, why don't you tell us a little bit about MGK, because it's really interesting to me, at least.
Oh, it's my initials. Is that what you mean?
Well, the
define?
channel that you.
Oh, so the channel. So basically during
And your
COVID.
initials, I mean.
Yeah, well, it's just or how the channel evolved or devolved, as some people might say. But back during 2020, great year, wasn't it? Watched a lot of YouTube, but at the time I was working in medical device, so I was still going to work every day. So I had that outlet, even though we were wearing like Scott Air packs and giant masks and stuff. But I had to have an outlet, and so I started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I discovered there's this whole thing out there called the vinyl community. A lot of middle-aged guys. It's 99% men. It's not a place to meet women, I'll tell you that. But I've met a lot of great friends. So I was watching other channels, and I can do this. So I fired it up in 2021, and I've made now probably 350 videos. I don't know, and I'm at around 914 subscribers. So I usually do 2 videos a week. I do one that's usually longer on Fridays, about 15 to 20 minutes, where I just talk about records, what I'm doing. I usually crack a pint because it's become this series called Friday Cheers that I do.
Yeah.
And people kind of like it, like they look forward to it somehow. I don't know. Maybe you look forward to it.
It is. It's
yeah,
entertaining.
people do it, right?
Especially when the cat Colton comes from.
Yeah, and I have a cat. Yeah, his name is Colton. So yeah. Anyway, so I started the channel. I had my handle was MGK Boston before I ever started the channel because I'd comment on other videos before I had my own content. So MGK is just simply my initials, and then Boston was where I was living, and so that's what. Now I'm living in Buffalo. So I'm neighbors with you, Dave.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Buffalo.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm actually leaving the studio after Dave here, going to look at yet another house. So that's our big goal here. My wife Patty and I, and our daughter's away at college. So we've been in this little apartment. It's time to get a house. So yeah. So we're doing it.
Well, according to the videos, Colton's ready too.
Colton's ready. The cat, he's going to rip my throat out soon because he needs some stairs to run up and down. He's kind of sick of it. And me and my wife are getting sick of each other. So, but we're getting through it, right? Cup's half full. So
see, there you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least, I don't know, if you have a nice view, I mean, doesn't Colty usually just hang out on?
He does. He's on Neighborhood Watch. So we're right downtown Buffalo, and it's very nice. We're in this area called Elmwood Village. It's all walkable. So I always say it's a perfect weekend if the car doesn't leave the driveway. I like to walk everywhere and get exercise. Today I was up for a run walk up to beautiful Delaware Park. So I don't know if you knew this. Frederick Olmsted, the same guy that designed Central Park, actually designed Delaware Park right here in Buffalo.
You know, I think I had heard that.
Yeah. So
it's kind of weird because when you live somewhere so long, you kind of lose track of all the mystique of it, right?
I know. After living in Boston all those years, people are like, don't you go down to Boston Common? No, not really.
Yeah.
You know, after you live somewhere for a while, it just becomes more traffic.
Yeah.
But that's one good thing. A lot of traffic here in Buffalo. So yeah.
Yeah, almost nothing.
No.
So how did you get the vinyl community to start growing? So you got 350 videos. I mean, that's impressive in and of itself. So
I just hitched my wagon on a train that was already rolling. So I think the first video out there, they say, was about 12, 15 years ago. There's some really older channels out there that have tens of thousands of subscribers and they monetize. That wasn't my goal. I just, I wanted to make videos. Well, then to my surprise, people that started commenting, and then offline we exchanged contact information, and I've made several great friends. So last July, Patty and I had this party, and I had people a gentleman come from Seattle, Vancouver Island, Victoria, Toronto, Florida, South Carolina. And this summer, we've got a guy coming from Birmingham, England, the one and only David Atkinson, from David Atkinson Music and More. Check out his channel. He's excellent. So he's a retired, and the funny thing with David is he does what I do for a living. He was in procurement. He was a buyer for a lot of years. Worked in aerospace for Rolls-Royce. Very interesting guy. He's got a giant collection. He's got 12,000 albums. So he's just recently retired. So he's like, hey, I'm going to come over. He's going to go to Toronto for a couple of days, and then he's going to come down to Buffalo. And we're having that party, Dave, Saturday, July 19th, and we're going to be in our new house. Put that in your calendar. I see.
Write it down.
Write it down. Be there or be square. Don't be a square,
right
man. Be there. So anyway, you were on the Velvet Rope list.
Well, thank you.
Move that Velvet Rope. Come on in, Dave.
So this guy has 12,000 albums, and you have most of yours in storage, right?
I hover around 2,000.
Okay.
And I have probably about 600 or 700 CDs.
Okay.
So I did go on the CD train all through the 90s, and then I kind of went back to buying records in the early 2000s again.
What brought you back to vinyl?
I like the social aspect of it, going to a store, talking to other collectors. So I found a great store here called Revolver Records. Plug for them in Elmwood Village. They have 3 locations. Transit Road, then there's another one on Hurdle, and then the one down on Elmwood, which has a bar now, beer and wine.
Really?
So I can go in there on a Saturday afternoon. I'm not going today. It's the first Saturday in a while because I'm here with you and I'm going to go look at a house. But I go in there.
2 important things, though, my days.
They are. I got to have a place to live, right? I can't live under a record album. So I go in there. I know the staff now. They're going to be at the party. So there's a couple of them there that I talk to every week when I go in. And like I said, I can go in there and get a beer and shoot the breeze. And yeah, they just moved locations. It's 2 floors. They have a full bar, beer and wine license. They have events at night. They're having live music. So get over there to Revolver. So great prices, new and used records. Man, I'm like Norm on Cheers when I go in there. They know me. It's like an honorary staff member. So yeah. I'm not getting paid. I'm paying them because I'm spending all my disposable income, right? But I'm a used guy. I like a deal. So I'm always in there. I like to dig through the crates, and sometimes I'll walk out of there with 8 records and spend $30. And other days it's a $100 day. It just depends. It's one of those hobbies with ebbs and flows. Depends what you get on the day of.
So I like the vinyl stuff just because a lot of it's how I remember it as a kid.
So it's that whole thing, like when you say as a kid, right? So I remember in my bedroom in high school, I remember my dad buying me headphones in 9th grade because he couldn't stand it anymore. But you go in there and you're lying in the bed, you got the record, you're looking at the lyrics, you're looking at the album art. It's the physical format, right? So, I got my phone here, and I'm streaming through a Bluetooth speaker. Doesn't have that warm sound. I'm not a huge gear guy. I have a nice system. I have a really nice turntable plugged for Fluence turntables made in Niagara Falls, Ontario, FLUANCE. Best mid-range turntable for the money. I highly recommend it. Excellent craftsmanship, good tech support if you have a hard time setting up like I did. They're great. Walk me through it in 5 minutes. So yeah, Fluence, very, very excellent turntable. If you're out there, don't know what kind of turntable to buy. So you can blow about $450, walk away with something built to last. Mm-hmm. So again, back to, it's a physical format. It's something that you can look at, you're putting it on the turntable, you're really engaged in it. Sometimes I find it's just me, I'm just listening to music. I put my phone somewhere else and I'm looking out the window and I'm just getting into the music. Mm-hmm. And there's some music that you play at a party that's meant to be enjoyed with others. Other music is meant to be thought-provoking, like I listened to a Mike Oldfield record the other night. That'll clear a room at a party. But if it's just me, it's excellent. It takes you somewhere else, right? That's what a good movie does. That's what a good record does. It takes you somewhere else. It takes you away from the day-to-day grind and maybe gets your wheels spinning. You think about other things, right? So it makes me happy.
I think I shared this the other day that one of my first memories is sitting there listening to something on vinyl. It was a Bob Dylan.
Highway 61, you mentioned, I think.
Yeah,
we were talking at work. So yeah, here's the other thing with you and I, Dave, right? We should share some background, right? I moved to Buffalo October 1st. I met Dave last October. We're work colleagues. So we're obviously friends outside of work here now, right? Here we are doing this. So Buffalo, city of good neighbors. It's actually true. People here have been extremely welcoming, including yourself, Dave.
Thank you.
So, turning the tables here. Speaking of work, I mean, how do you find working with MGK? Is it fun?
It actually is fun. I enjoy it.
Breath of fresh air.
I've learned to take on my role as a junior buyer, and it's been very good.
Yeah, I like when Dave comes by my office and I'm doing something for Dave, and I engage Dave. I'll just say, Dave, pull up a chair, put the speakerphone on. I love the speakerphone, the element of surprise, and I'll tell the supplier I have a special guest here, and this is your actual end customer, Dave.
Yeah.
So yeah, work is work, but you can make work fun, right? And can accomplish your goals at the same time, right?
Well, I think part of what works well is we both speak the same language. Like we both want to get the same thing accomplished without ego and without issue. Like I think a lot of people, once they get to a certain point in their career, they just, I don't know if it's title or if it's whatever, but I don't notice it where we're at now, but I've definitely experienced it in places prior where it was all ego, it was title driven, and well, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm like,
Sure.
I don't care what you are.
So in sales, which you're in customer service, in that end of the business, manufacturing is a grind, right? It's problem solving, it's engineering, it's it's all these things we have to do to get our product from receiving, build it, ship it out the back door, right? So that's where my main focus is. I have my internal customers like yourself, and I think that is what makes the days go quickly. And I don't find it. I say it's a grind, but it feels like any work can be a grind.
Right.
But it's the satisfaction day to day in supply chain of fixing problems and avoiding those problems down the road, because once you fix a problem, it shouldn't be recurring, right? That's in my mind. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to preemptively have a solution before this happens again, right? So that's how you're successful, I think, in the day-to-day world of supply chain. Because if you don't fix the problem, it just perpetuates and continues, right? So I think that's what makes the work. It would drive some people insane because the phone's ringing a lot. People are coming to your desk, but I enjoy it. It's engaging. Like I said, it keeps me mentally acute, mentally alert, because it's constantly, you got to be on your game.
Have you noticed that there's many differences between the different companies you work for as far as purchasing is considered?
Yeah, so I just came from almost 15 years in medical device manufacturing. Flat forecast, really no surprises in what we're doing now. This type of business, we're on a ramp up right now, right? I find I miss my old job, but I find this one has been so quick, and I had to really come up to speed really, really fast. And I think it's made it more exciting. So every industry is different, right? And I worked in architectural coatings, otherwise known as paint, when I lived in California. That was another one. Ramp up, ramp down, because it's seasonal. No one paints in the wintertime, exterior paint. And then Memorial Day would come, we'd be panicking all through the winter right now, ramping up our inventory. So the company we work for now, I'm sure there's going to be ebbs and flows to it. But like I said, the days just roll one into the other, and it's not a bad thing for that time to go quickly, because you're busy.
Yeah.
You're not idle. And like I said, you're constantly thinking, you're problem solving, you're engaging with others. That's what I like to do. I'm not a nose down introvert, in case you haven't figured that out yet.
I got that feeling.
You got that?
Yeah.
So so anyway, that's work talk. But yeah.
So,
I don't have the shirts that Dave does.
Right,
That's
I
another
had to wear the special
I
shirt.
need to point this out. So in the vinyl community, there's a fellow called Ben Rankins. That's the name of his channel. He's over in Melbourne, Australia. And I gave him the moniker King of Shirts. So you're actually King of Shirts the second. But
Okay, all right.
for you'll represent North America as a
Fair,
whole, right?
fair.
KOS2 is Dave. I cannot compete with that. Look at this. I'm bland with a gray hoodie. I can't even attempt to take that mantle from Dave. He is the King of Shirts. So yes.
I had to make sure I pulled this one
I didn't
off.
even need to tell Dave to wear a good shirt today, because
Yeah.
I knew he would do it. So
And I did not disappoint, apparently.
not at all, not at all.
So you told me that you used to be a DJ in college, right?
I had a college radio show for a couple of years, so that was another thing I thought. And again, I'm from Canada originally. I went to university up in Ottawa, a place called Carleton U. Fun party school. I think it's harder to get in there now. I don't know if I'd get in there now, Dave, but I graduated a long time ago in the early 90s, so I'm getting up there. But yeah, I did that. So I thought, that's the thing. When I was watching Vinyl Community videos, I thought, I can do this. I can talk about music all day. It was just getting used to a camera and all that stuff. So if you go and watch my early videos, I'm kind of looking at notes. I'm kind of nervous. But then I got in the groove, and you just forget the camera's on and just do your thing. I've had a couple of people say about my videos, they feel like when I do those Friday Cheers videos, they feel like they're hanging out in the living room with me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's conversational and, and just joking around, and it's very informal.
Yeah. I like how it always kind of starts with, at least the ones that I've watched recently, where you get the turntable started up and everything's spinning.
A little needle drop, they call that dance.
Yeah, nice.
So, trying to avoid a copyright strike every single time.
Sorry.
No, but that's why I play a lot of unknown artists.
Yeah.
Because if you throw on an AC/DC album or something, you're going to get dinged.
Yeah.
right? Because they've got all their lawyers all watching YouTube, I guess, right? So anyway, that's what happens.
Nothing better to do, I guess.
No, man, no. So, and that's the other thing too. I'm into a lot of weird stuff. So, you know, everybody knows AC/DC. So why would you play that anyway? I like to introduce people to a lot of the stuff that under the radar, right?
So what's your favorite band then?
Of all time,
All time.
Probably the Grateful Dead.
Okay.
That's a huge band too,
Yeah, I was
right?
gonna say that.
I know. That's
Contrary
not
to
really
what
under
you
the
said,
radar.
yeah.
But no, I mean under the radar. I was an '80s kid, so a lot of alternative from the '80s. I love Simple Minds. I love the Smiths, Depeche Mode, The Cure, all that, all new wave stuff. A bit of punk rock. Bands like Minor Threat from the United States, Black Flag, Dead Kennedys. Yeah, who else? That one label out of Washington D.C. It was called Discord.
Yeah.
Had a lot of good. Minor Threat was a band. The lead singer was a guy named Ian Mackay. He's still alive. I say was. He formed another band called Fugazi, and they were a pretty big outfit. And then as the early '90s came, bands like Soundgarden. I wasn't really a grunge guy, but I really loved me some Chris Cornell, and I saw them twice. I saw them at Lollapalooza in 1992, and then '93 I saw Lollapalooza again. These both concerts were in Toronto. And that was bands like Alice in Chains, Arrested Development, Front 242, Tool, a lot of crazy heavy stuff. So I'm all over the map.
Yeah.
I love a lot of jazz too. I got into jazz when I was in my late 20s. I like a lot of blues music. Two things I don't do. I don't do rap. I don't do bluegrass. And I've tried. I can't do it.
Though.
Can't do it. Those fiddles start going in bluegrass. I can't do it, man.
Now you mentioned all the new wave. Didn't Matt Good have a tour that was called "I Miss New Wave"? I know he had a song, but
so yeah, Dave's a big
tour
fan of
dedicated to that.
Matthew Good from Vancouver, British Columbia. I don't know that particular tour. I did see the was it Underdogs, that one album, 94, 95.
Right
or
around
something.
there, yeah.
I saw that tour, and I saw that in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Coming this
I
summer
think
to
we're gonna
Buffalo,
come-
man.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go to that one.
Yeah, I think Dave and I are going to be at the concert. We're filming this on video too over there. So yeah, we're going to be going to that. What venue is that? The Ironworks or what? I haven't gone to a concert yet in Buffalo.
That might be the town ballroom. I can't remember.
Oh, all right.
I'll
All
have to
right.
look that one up.
I don't care as long as it's licensed, Dave.
It is.
All
yeah.
right, good. Yeah.
But
What
yeah,
else
he
you got?
always puts on a good show. Though.
Oh yeah. I know he's one of your favorite artists. And
Yeah.
Still
I think
active,
this will be
obviously.
probably the 7th or 8th concert I've gone.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Oddly, I like Grateful Dead a lot. I got to that party way late, so I never saw the original. I only saw the newer band with John Mayer playing the Jerry Garcia parts and singing, Dead and Company.
Then, yeah. Do you
All
like
three.
them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All three of those shows I saw. I saw once at the Garden in Boston and twice out at Gillette Stadium, where the New England Patriots play. Can't say the New England Patriots name in Buffalo, but I'm saying it because I'm in enclosed space with Dave, so I'm safe here. I'm in a safe space.
Yeah.
Go Patriots.
Well, and it's the weird thing too. You have all these bands, and they seem to hit Toronto, maybe Buffalo, but there's just we get a lot of Canadian music that comes through.
So
if
I've
you go to
noticed that.
Pittsburgh, no one knows who Matt Good is, for example.
So Tragically Hip would be another good example. When I lived in Boston, nobody. Once in a while, and I do because I listen to college radio a lot because I like the weirdness. You'd hear a hip tune, but on classic rock FM, where they're a staple in Canada, like, never hear the Tragically Hip down there. And then I moved to Buffalo. Everybody knows the Tragically Hip here, and there's that local tribute band called Strictly Hip.
Yeah.
So there's another channel. He's going to be at the party. Embryonic Robot, Brian. He's one of the biggest hip fans I ever met. So I'll introduce you to Brian.
Perfect. I actually have in my work office in my house one of the last pictures of Gordy with the band on his farewell tour. I think probably second to last show.
When he was dying of the brain cancer.
Yeah. And he was wearing this funky blue suit with like
The Jaws
reflective.
was the Jaws T-shirt. Remember he was
I
wearing
don't know if he had he may have had Jaws underneath it, but
the top hat.
the top hat and everything. Yeah, it was very reflective, very.
You don't want to wear a top hat, Dave, because your
No.
hair's too good. You don't want to ruin it.
But it was very Gordy baby. That's
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. It was a perfect remembrance.
Yeah, so it's funny living here on the border. I grew up in a border town in eastern Ontario, literally looking across the St. Lawrence River, and there was upstate New York. So there was that shared space, right? America and Canada, and it's. I feel like I'm close to home living here.
Mhm.
I like it. I really do. That aspect of it.
And you're what, 30 minutes away?
My in-laws live about a 2-hour car ride from
2?
here,
Okay.
up toward Toronto.
Okay. All right. So a little further up.
Yeah.
So I think I shared this. I used to oversee a location that was in Markham, so I spent a lot of time in
Oh,
Toronto.
sure. That's Toronto's east side.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And that was nice. It was wherever we were, everywhere we interacted with everyone was nice and friendly, and it didn't have any issues.
Polite Canadians, Dave.
Well, I didn't go to Canada for years because of how hard it was to get across the border.
Oh, with the COVID stuff and all
Yeah,
that.
it was-
Yeah, I didn't go for a couple of years. It was
Yeah.
tough because I have a lot of family there. My wife has family there, but it was so restrictive. It wasn't worth. It was like doing my tax return just to
Yeah.
go across the border. So we're back to normal
Yeah, I'm
again.
glad life is somewhat back to normal again.
Well, yeah, we call normal these days.
So what about music really drew you? Like I remember always having an affinity for it, and I assume it's just even when my dad and I couldn't talk about anything, like when I was a teenager, we could always still talk about music. And I always remembered that was a cool thing. I want to have something like that with my son, whether it be fighting or something he's into or music or whatever. But like,
Yeah, I know Dave does all the boxing and stuff, right? Take it easy on me. But my thing in my house with my parents, my dad never watched sports. My mother, not at all. They were both. They like ballroom dancing. So they were married in 1949. So I when I was born, they were 40 years old. It was an accident, Dave, if you can believe it. Right? A pleasant accident.
What a great accident.
Yeah, right. It's a great accident. But anyway, their music. So I'd go down the street when I was like 11 or 12. My friends' parents would be listening to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin and stuff. My parents are listening to big band and jazz, like and Stan Getz records. My dad loved Stan Getz. And so that kind of was what I grew up with. But they were always very open-minded. So, I mean, I always like to tell this story. When I was in 6th grade, I really wanted this Kiss Alive album. My dad had to go to the local record store. He knew the owner. And my dad went in and he's like, Gavin, what are you doing here? Like, are you buying this? And it's for my son. And so we always would joke about that. And then of course, the headphones came not long after that. So, but they didn't discourage me from listening. You do whatever, right? They were open-minded. Did they enjoy the music of Kiss or any heavy metal bands? No, but they certainly didn't say, you can't do that, right? So I grew up in a musical house is my point. And just my dad had a really nice hi-fi, as he called it. And then I had my first stereo by 7th grade. I had a little system I got from Radio Shack for Christmas one year. Just a couple speakers and a record player, and that was it. Then I upgraded in high school, and the rest is just kind of history. Music's always been in the background. If I had a house party, or I was going to a house party, I'd be bringing my mixtapes. Because if you ever saw that movie High Fidelity with John Cusack, he owns a used record store, and he's always making mixtapes for all his friends and all his girlfriends to impress the ladies. And that was me in high school and college. That was me bringing all the music.
I remember when we were kids, we had, well, I don't think I was a kid, but this was when the dual cassette came out, so you could actually dub right from the radio, and you had to queue up one and do this. It was a pain.
So I had my cassette deck and I had a receiver, so I'd be listening to the radio literally, and when I know a break was coming up, boom, just to try to record.
To catch that.
Yeah, there was a late night alternative program I used to listen to on the CBC. A lot of stuff I'd never heard, so I would be, doing that. And all my tapes, I don't have my cassettes anymore, unfortunately. So when we lived in California for 5 years, I stupidly put them up in the attic in the garage when I was doing some stuff there, and it got really hot one weekend, and it melted them.
Oh, really?
Then they went to the curb. I didn't have a ton. I probably had a couple hundred, but yeah.
All mixtapes?
Yeah, mixtapes. I never bought pre-recorded cassettes.
Yeah.
I'd borrow an album from you, for example, and I'd
Yeah.
record the album and give you the album back,
Yeah.
and I have my cassette copy, right? I always thought the quality was crap when you'd buy pre-recorded tapes.
Yeah, the tapes, I remember, they drove me nuts because my brothers would always screw them up, or they get caught in the head and stretch them.
Oh, yeah.
Your
You
toe.
believe it or not now, there's a couple of guys in the vinyl community that buy 8-tracks. That's
Really?
a thing. Never got into it because time I got a certain age, 8-tracks were kind of becoming obsolete. It was cassettes.
Yeah.
Right? If you were going to buy any kind of tape, it was a cassette. And then we had CDs, and then we go back to vinyl again, right? Full circle.
I kind of like having some level of digital. I mean, I can't take a vinyl record in a trip to Pittsburgh.
No. Same
So,
in the car or whatever.
There's something
right?
to be said for that. But if I want to sit and listen and just enjoy music, I will pull vinyl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll do that later today.
Yeah.
You know,
What's on tap for today?
go look at a house,
Right. So you get the house, right? But then what is your musical influence going to be impacted? Like if you put a bid down, then you're going to find like a happy album, or is it like?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and that's the other thing. When I do get a house, I'm totally going to go back and revisit my collection. I probably won't go record shopping for a couple of months because when I get everything set up again, it's going to be like, oh my God, I forgot I had this. Right? So there's a little app I have in my phone called Discogs. It's a free app that most collectors use, and you have everything cataloged. So I'm at a point now, I'm in the store and I'm like, do I have this already?
Yeah.
And I'll have to pull out my phone and look at my Discogs and go, yeah, I have that. Don't buy a duplicate. You know, that's happened before. I bought the same record twice.
So I've done that with the Dylan one. I don't remember which one it was, but I took a look at it one day on my phone. I had like 289 Bob Dylan songs on my phone, something like that.
Those that love Bob Dylan, love Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I don't have a ton. I have a few of the essentials. Blonde on Blonde. Blood on the Tracks is probably my favorite album. That's from about 1974, I want to say. Really excellent. If you don't know Blood on the Tracks, check that one out.
I'm just, I don't know, like the songwriting to me is what catches me every time.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that biopic that's coming out. It's gotten mixed reviews.
I'm scared to watch that.
Yeah, the diehard Dylan people are like, skip it.
Yeah.
If you're just a peripheral fan, it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
I think that guy that plays him, is it Timothy Chalamet, or I think that's the guy. I mean, I could have that wrong. Pretty good actor, but and Ed Norton's in it too.
Yeah.
He plays Pete Seeger. He was a rebel folk guy.
He's just such a
Ed
eclectic
Norton's
guy.
intense.
I don't know if you could.
Think back to the 90s, American History X. That's
Yeah.
just a crazy movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy good.
Yeah.
Yeah, in black and white too.
Back to
I don't remember that. They filmed that in black and white.
So then, does your daughter, has she kind of taken the mantle of vinyl, or is she on her own?
Not collecting, but she's volunteering. She's not on the air. She works in the record library at her.
Oh, okay.
She goes to a school called Pomona College, and their campus radio station is called KSPC. I do stream it on my phone. It's got some good programming.
Yeah.
So she helps with the cataloging and stuff and writes reviews for different things. She's really into indie, like new indie rock. She's not a Swiftie. Nothing against you Swifties out there. You go for it. But she likes the indie stuff. So she'll say, hey, try this. She'll send me a link through YouTube or whatever. And when she was home for Christmas break, she went to Revolver with me a couple of times. So she also shares my sense of humor. So we have a lot of laughs. Drives my wife nuts, but hey, you know, yeah.
There's I'll have to share this with you when I can pull it up, but there's an indie station that she might be into. It's on, I found it on YouTube, and they break down like the best indie songs of the month, the year, the quarter. She might already be.
No, well, if you think of it, please let me
Yeah.
know. I found a local station here. It might be from Buff State, 91.3.
I think that's on
It's
Buff
not
State.
too bad, not too bad. I don't know if it's University of Buffalo or Buff State.
This one, they seem to pull a lot of bands that I've never heard of or are real obscure.
Yeah, that's it, and no commercials, so they
Yeah,
like have their
just-
annual funding drive.
Yeah.
That's the only time the program's interrupted. Otherwise, you're just listening to the announcer.
Yeah. I
talking
like
about the
just
music.
sitting and listening to some guy or gal on a guitar, and they put something together, and it's usually pretty impactfully written. I'm like, wow, I could.
Oh, well,
could
please
get
let me
behind
know,
that,
and I'll
yeah.
share that with Caroline.
Yeah, I'll have to pull it. It's really good though.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of them that I found out in the middle of nowhere that they're writing, even though they're kids, they're in their 20s.
Sure.
Which seems like it's well above.
See, with these
Their
things, these smartphones, right? That you and I didn't have when we were 13 or 14. You can do a lot with this. Like I'm making all my videos with this.
Yeah.
I don't have some expensive setup. I don't even have a tripod. You know what I do? I have a ottoman, and I put a little crate on it, and I have a bottle of Lysol, and I lean the phone up against it. That's my tripod. I am low tech, man. Low budget, Dave.
But then you also have what was his nickname? When he went nuts and started smashing up when Colton was smashing your phone. Godzilla or something, I thought they called him in the comment section.
Oh yeah,
Catzilla.
Catzilla. Yeah, Colton gets a little wound up. Yesterday I gave him a little catnip because I'm like, hey, I'm having happy hour. He can have it too, right? So yeah, he needs a break, man. He's in that apartment alone all day. You know.
Did he get his stairs running though? He's good.
He goes out in the hall,
Yeah.
tears up the carpet.
And then,
So he actually ate a piece of carpet, Dave, and
Oh.
yeah, so we had a little
So that's
episode in the
fun.
middle of the
Yeah.
night, and he threw it up, and it was like a long strand of carpet. I'm like, you're a trooper. That went through your body, and you didn't die. Quit eating carpet.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna learn that lesson.
Nah, he's smart, but not that smart.
He's 2 though, right?
Yeah, he just turned 2. Celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big party.
Yeah, we'll probably have a party later on. Give him some catnip.
Yeah.
Smarty cat. Right? Yeah.
My son is obsessed with cats, like completely I've never seen a human being with worse luck with dogs in my life.
You had mentioned that. So we never had a dog. I never even grew up with a pet. My
Yeah.
wife always grew up with, she had a rabbit, dogs, cats, everything but a buffalo. But this is our second cat. So this is my second pet.
Yeah.
And the first cat hated my guts. He was my daughter's cat, and he passed on a couple of years ago. And well, on a whim, we picked up Colton 2 years ago. Found out on Craigslist someone had a litter, and we went over and grabbed him. He was a little guy, and now he's a big fatso.
Yeah.
He's just doing Colton stuff. They say because orange cats, they say there's something different about them. They love people, and they're a little nuts, and it's pretty accurate.
It's pretty
description
accurate,
of my guy. Oh yeah. When he's not snuggling, he's trying to rip your throat out.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
Oh, so that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, no middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least you know where you stand.
At least I have a middle ground at work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least you're safe for 8 to 10 hours a day.
You'll be okay around me, Dave.
At least you have a little bit of safety.
That's it.
So now, if you had to go back in time and review, like how you got into vinyl, what changes would you have made, or like even doing the videos or you've been doing? Because you said initially they were, you had notes and you're a little bit more nervous. Now you're good to go. I used to be a wedding DJ, and I still remember the first time I did a wedding DJ event and how terrified I was. And I'm like, the amount of things that I thought people would notice that no one even noticed.
So that is such a good point. That was me. I was like, oh, people aren't going to like this. They're going to, like, to be honest, very few negative comments over the years. Excuse me. But
That's whole. You're so likable, though.
Well, thank you for that, Dave. Yeah, thanks. We have a beer after this. No, it's that you want people to like you, right?
Right.
And that's human nature. But you want people to like the content, like when I'm putting out here you're making yourself public. You're putting it on YouTube, and you want to make it enjoyable. I'd watch other channels. I want to be like that guy. What I would do differently is not try to be like that guy. Just be like Mike, because at the end of the day, that ended up being what people, not to toot my own horn, but people seem to like it. And people that met me at the party last summer that came, like I said, from all over the place, like, the best compliment you can have is you're just the same person as I would see on YouTube. You're not like a performer where you're like in a movie, you're someone different, a character. No, you're just being yourself. And like I say, I'm sitting in my living room having a beer talking about records.
Yeah, and that I think comes across pretty clean. Like, it's, hey, I'm just a guy. We're going to talk about some music, and here's some cool things.
Yeah, you've had a work week. You're unwinding, going into the weekend, listening to music. My habit though, it hasn't been so much in the apartment because I'm sharing it with Patty, but in Massachusetts, I'd come home from work, go for a run. Before dinner, I'd listen to an album, one a day. And I always keep my notebook, and I would write down, what did I listen to on this day? And then I'd go back what I was doing then, because I wasn't doing as much shopping the last couple of years in Massachusetts. I would just talk about what I listened to during the week. Instead of like recent finds, it would be playlist. Here's what I listened to this week. I listened to these 6 or 7 albums. So it's funny, if you looked at a graph, right, it's like your moods,
Right, yeah.
Every day can't be a Pantera day.
Yeah.
Right? So, and it could be Stan Getz over here, Roxy Music over here, Grateful Dead over here, Bob Dylan. It's just like, it goes with your mood. And you can sit in a room with 2,000 records, and it's almost like the TV. There was a Bruce Springsteen song years ago called 57 Channels and Nothing on his Nebraska album.
Yeah.
It's that, I always think of that, right? Yeah. And so sometimes I'd actually put my blind like this and just grab something. And then it could be something I haven't listened to in 7 or 8 years, or 15 or 20 years. Oh, wow. And then you revisit it, right? It sounds fresh again. So, yeah.
See, but that still comes across, though. Like, it's to me, I can tell you just are who you are. One of the things that drove me nuts when I was a wedding DJ, and just DJs in general, you get that person, that guy, that girl, whatever, oh, here we go. We're the DJ and we're on the top
I'm
of the
Diamond
nines.
Dave.
You know, like,
Yeah.
come on, just have a conversation.
Get out on the dance floor.
Yeah, drove me nuts. It ruined so many weddings for me.
I can imagine being a wedding DJ though. As the night wears on, you get the drunk people coming up, and they want to hear "Money, Money" again, and you don't want to play it. It's a nightmare. It sounds like a nightmare, Dave.
One of the craziest experiences I ever had, and I had a lot, but I'm just like, this kind of sums up the experience, was I had a drunk aunt, not my aunt, but a aunt.
Someone's drunk aunt.
Yeah. Or somebody comes up to me, absolutely berates me about being the worst DJ she's ever seen, worst DJ she's ever heard. The music selection sucks, nobody's dancing, nobody's having a good time. As she's berating me, I just sit there and take it, because what else are you going to do? And I have to pick the next song, and either way, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
And as she's doing that, the bride comes up with tears in her eyes and is like, "This is the greatest thing ever. Thank you so much. I can't believe that you did that." And that meant a lot to me, because like I work really hard to put these things together.
And she's your main customer.
Correct.
Right.
And I'm trying to think, okay, what would they like? What would work? Read the room. How does everyone kind of interact? Okay, if I play this type of song, do people get them out?
Right.
If I play this type of song, is it a dud? Okay, do they like country? Do they like rock? Is it too soon to put this out? Do I have to, you have to taper out the night. You can't have them dancing at 130 beats per minute the whole time.
Know your audience.
Grandma will die.
Like,
you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments where I realized I don't care what someone else's impression is.
No, but there's that phrase though that I just like, know your audience, right? So you're reading the room.
Yeah.
That I think I do in my day-to-day life with work too. If I'm working with a supplier, get to know their personality, the give and take. They want to make money. We're trying to make money. I need their product to make money. We're partnering, right? And that's knowing your audience and getting to know each other and having mutual respect.
Yeah, I agree.
Unlike the drunk aunt, she had no respect. No respect.
Well,
she probably didn't see your shirt. Didn't comment on your shirt.
That's what did it.
Yeah, I mean.
But you always get, like, you want everybody to like you, but at the end of the day, like, you know what works or what doesn't work, and you have.
It's going to be that 10% that don't like you, and you can't convince them, right? You can't win over everybody.
So you got a house to look at. So we got time for like maybe another minute or two, and that's about it before you get dragged out of here. Actually, you won't be dragged out. You have to drive out of here.
I got to drive out of
here.
I'm in Tonawanda section of Buffalo.
Yeah.
So this is Dave's hometown here in Tonawanda. So is that how you say it? Tonawanda?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have no Western New York accent, by the way.
Thank you.
So, there is an accent here.
Yeah.
It's not like a Boston accent, but where I grew up in Eastern Ontario, it's funny because you go over to play sports upstate New York, like Ogdensburg was a town near me, they would have an accent.
Yeah.
Instead of saying hockey, you'd say hickey.
Yeah.
It was just little different, right? And my friends that come to the party, maybe you'll pick up a Western New York accent while you're here next July.
Have to take a look, yeah.
We're going to go to Niagara Falls. We're going to do a couple of events leading up to the party on Saturday. It's going to be Thursday, Friday. So a friend of mine, Alex, over at Beer and Vinyl, he's from Columbus, Ohio. He was here last year. He's our VP of Social Convening is his official title, Dave. So he's setting up events. We're going to go to Niagara Falls. We're going to hit Revolver Records. I'm going to negotiate some sort of a bulk discount for a group buy because I'm going to bring all these customers into Revolver. We're going to have that going on. And then the main event on Saturday, which you're going to be attending. My wife, Patty, loves to bake. There'll be cheesecake everywhere. Patty Cheesecake is her nickname in the vinyl community. She's been in a couple of my videos. My daughter Caroline's been in a couple of my videos. Now you've been in I'm in Dave's video here. But yeah, man. So we'll make another video at the party.
Do I have to wear the cat shirt though, or
you can wear any shirt? I mean, you must have a separate. Dave has. I say must. I know he has a separate room in his house full of shirts. They're all cataloged for the occasion, like that.
Based on mood, just like music, right?
That's it. It's the mood of the shirt. I love that one, Dave.
Thank you.
My birthday's in July. Buy me a shirt.
Find something.
Find something.
Yeah.
Large.
You can do that.
All right.
You can do that.
Good man. Well, I don't have a whole lot more, Dave. I'm going to hopefully go buy a house this afternoon. I don't know. Stranger things have happened. But, man, hey.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
We're here, right? Oh, well, this is Dave's channel, but I'm going to post this on my YouTube channel as well. tell us real quickly here. I'm sorry to take over here, but tell us about your podcast and where it can be found. I'll post a link in the description when I post this video later, but tell us a bit about your podcast for a minute here.
Yeah, so this is just kind of a passion project. You kind of hinted at it. There's no money in it. I'm down thousands of dollars.
This is your hobby.
This is fun. Yeah. This is just something I like to do, just to talk to people and kind of see how they define success over time. So the name of it is just How I Define Success. And it's on Apple Podcasts. I'll probably go to Spotify at some point soon. But the goal was just to start it and see what happens. And then the goal was to do 20, and now I'm at 25. And I was meditating the other day, and it came back that I'm supposed to do this for 3 years. I'm like, great.
So that's a lot of episodes.
So much, yeah, so much for that.
Yeah, right. Maybe by then you'll have a revenue stream. I don't know.
Well,
You could go viral or whatever they call it. I don't know.
The fun part for me is just I don't feel beholden to anyone. We can just talk about whatever and have the conversations that people want to have. And there's been some real honest stuff, especially people talking about how they viewed their life in their 20s versus 30s versus 40s, having kids, not having kids, what's changed in their career, stuff like that. And it's been really interesting to kind of pick people's brains and see what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them. And everyone has this central theme of like they want to give back and they want to help others and, you know, maybe shorten that learning curve for other people, which I think is really exciting.
Well, these days, I think helping others, that's a really good virtue, right? Do unto others, right?
Yeah.
It's not that complicated, everybody. It's not calculus. It's just life. Just try to be respectful of each other, right? And have a laugh. That's like I say, not to talk about work, but when you work with great people like we do, you can have a laugh. It makes the day better, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, think about how many, like, even if we have to talk about something serious, that's fine. I'm still breaking jokes. You're still joking.
Oh, yeah. Dave walks by. I have a one-liner. Usually if I'm not head down, buried in something, I'm going to make a sarcastic comment to Dave. So
I've come to expect it.
But that's how you know you're friends, right? You can roast each other, and it's all good, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Dave signing off. Good man. King of shirts. North American King of shirts.